Hey, it's Aaron from GameEnthus.com, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about Boba Mahjong. Boba Mahjong is a two-player card game designed by Tate Wu, with art from Chiu, and it's being published by Sunrise Tornado Game Studios. In Boba Mahjong, players are going to be doing set collection, some set collection, but if they collect those sets well enough, it will enable them to do a whole lot of set collection. So it's like set collection, deep fried in set collection on a bed of crispy, crunchy set collection. That's a really weird way of describing it, but that's kind of where I am right now. Let me show you how it works. In Boba Mahjong, players are going to be doing set collection a little more simply up front, but it will get a little more complex as end round scoring goes on. So sets can be things like three different toppings, including things like grass jelly, coffee jelly, green bean, cheese foam, red beans, rainbow jelly, basil seeds, and honey. So any three toppings can be a set in the initial part of the game. For example, this could be a set of toppings. You have three different types of toppings. It's a set. If it was three of the same, it's still a set. If it was two of one of the other, still a set. Toppings are really easy going. Just three of them, you're good to go. Players are going to be picking one card from that set, putting it to the side, and then using the end round scoring rules to create points for themselves. On top of the numerous toppings, there are 4 different types of tea, including matcha tea, taro tea, strawberry tea, and butterfly tea. So setup is fairly simple. You'd lay out 3 cards from the deck, which would be known as your mixing piles. As long as one of them isn't 0, any other card is fine. Zeros are essentially wild cards in initial set creation, and then if you happen to take a 0 as one of your cards from that set for end round scoring, that 0 is simply whatever type of tea or color it is and the number 0. It is no longer wild. So each player will get 5 cards, and the game will begin. So what you're able to do initially, so in terms of your actions on your turn, in terms of the actions you're able to take on your turn, you were able to draw 2 cards from the supply, or draw 1 face-up card from one of the mixing piles. So let's say I want to draw 2 cards from the supply. I take this 8, and I take a 5. At that point, a player is able to make between 1 and 3 different sets. So you can make up to 3 if you can pull it off. If you do not choose to make 1 to 3 sets, you can simply choose to draw 2 cards again and then discard down to a hand size of 7. Let's say I'm going to make a set. A set can consist of at least 3 cards. Now, 3 of those cards can come right from your hand, or 2 of them can come from your hand and 1 of them can come from one of the mixing piles. So let's say I want to make a set of toppings. So I put down 2 cards from my hand and then 1 card from the mixing pile. That is a set. In the final version of the game, different toppings are going to have different abilities. Some things are going to be about discarding. Some things will be about taking things from other players. There'll be a wide variety of different abilities that the toppings will allow you to do. But in this version of the game, the actual powers for the toppings is not included. But the nice thing about it is, if you want to play with those powers, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. So create some flexibility there. Anyway, this is a set. Now, I've created a set so I can continue to make other sets if I want to. I'm not sure I really can. Well, yeah, I can. Okay, so I made a set, and now I choose 1 card from that set. Let's say I just take, I don't think I mentioned caramel before. Let's say I take caramel, which means the other 2 cards that I use will go back into the mixing piles, and you have to repopulate a blank mixing pile first. So I'll just put that there, and I can put this one anywhere I choose. I can put that one right there, and I can continue to play. I continue making sets if I want to. So let's say I want to do another set of 1, 2, 3. Let's say I really want this 4. I could include that 4 into this set, and that makes that 4 eligible to be put to the side for end round scoring, which maybe I'm working on the color blue. I'm not just yet, but maybe I was. Let's say I was. I'd want to do that. For right now, 1, 2, 3, 2 strawberries, 2 matchas. This is a set. Let's say I'm going to keep the 1, and then these 2 are going to go back. And the thing about the mixing piles is you can only play things that are on the top of mixing piles. You can look through them, but you can only grab what's on the top, which gets interesting. And that is my turn. So that will be a complete turn right there for player 1. And then player 2 would do something similar. Let's say player 2 is going to draw 2 cards. Look at that. And they got a 0. So they drew 2 cards. 2 zeros. Let's say they're going to make a set. Also, zeros and toppings cannot go in the same set because that wouldn't make a 0 is not a topping. A 0 is any number during initial set creation. So they're going to keep the, they keep the mango jelly, and now you don't have to keep putting toppings all on one pile. I just happen to be doing that. But maybe you do that because you know your opponent wants something, so you just cover it up so they can't get to it. That's really mean, but hey, that's the game. And let's say they want to create another set. So let's say they want to create a set of 3 2s, or I don't know, maybe 4 2s. There you go. Zeros are wild. I will keep one of these cards. Now, keeping the zeros does nothing for me other than if I need that color or that number, because the 0, it would just be a 0 for later on. I'll just keep the, since I got this, maybe I wanted this 2 matcha card, and this 2 would just go here. The zeros would just go out. They don't go back into the mixing piles. And that's what some turns look like. Let me show you how end round scoring might work. So let's say this was the end of a round, and these are the 6 cards that I had. It's also worth mentioning that once a player puts the 6th scoring card into the scoring pile, that triggers the end of the round, but the other player gets 1 more turn, and then the round ends. And then you would score. I'll have the player guide image somewhere over here, or maybe over here. It'll be somewhere. Looking at number 1, freshness. 2 of the same number. Okay, so I have 2 of the same number. That's 3 points. I'm assuming I don't get multiple combinations of that. I think it would just be 3 unless it's every combination of each one. Let's say it's 3. So a 1 and a 1, that's 3 points. 3 of a kind is 6 points. If I had 4 of a kind, it would have been worth 10 points. So I got 9 points just in number 1 based on having 2 of the same and then 3 of the same. Let's say that's 9 points. Smoothness, that is a straight. I have 1, 2, 3. So I get 2 points on top of the 9 I have. Let's say that's 11. That's not bad. Complexity, that is any toppings. I have 1 topping. That's worth 2 points. I'll take it. That's 13. And then presentation, A is the same color. I have 3 of the same color. That's worth 13. Sorry, that's worth 3 points. So what I have, 9, 11, 13. So 3 points, that's 16 total for having 3 of the same color. And then presentation B is different colors. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that doesn't count. 3 colors. I don't believe. Oh, no, toppings do count. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 different. Any 4 is worth 3 points. I was at 16 plus 3 is 19. And here's how these come into play. So I'm at 19. These are worth 5 points apiece. So I got 19. Had I gotten 1 more point, I would have gotten 4 of these and been very close to winning, because once someone gets 30 points, meaning they have 6 of these, they win the game. But I got 19. I missed it by 1. So I'll get 3. 15 plus 4, 19, but I missed the fifth, so for 20. So I'm halfway there. And that is essentially how Boba Mahjong plays. I like that it does very simple set collection, 3 of a kind, runs. But then for actual scoring, you have to consider a lot more. It's like, do I really focus on getting more of these colors? I focus on getting toppings, because as you saw, toppings, 3 toppings is 7 points. That's a lot. So maybe I focus on, freshness and smoothness, but that freshness might come at the cost of presentation A or presentation B. So there's a lot to consider. You'll have opportunities to make sets rather frequently. You have to just decide on what you really want to focus on at that point. And that's where the juiciness comes in. It's a very simple game, and I feel like its cuteness belies kind of what's behind it. It's a very cute game. It's not complex at all, but it does give you some things to consider. Just cranking out set after set without thinking about the end goal doesn't do you any good. Hey, you cranked out a set, but you do get rewarded though, kind of either way. If you create a set that doesn't have a lot of the same colors, you're still able to do presentation B, which can give you some points for multiple colors, but not nearly as many as you get for having the same color. So lots to consider. So this is a good number of things to consider, and that's Boba Mahjong. I like it. It's fun. I like the Tate. Definitely took something that people like. I do know that the Mahjong in the title can be somewhat misleading for people who are thinking it's more, they're looking for tiles and what traditional Mahjong is sort of about, but the Mahjong in the title is more about the set collection part of it, not necessarily, which is akin to Mahjong, creating sets, not necessarily the actual tiles. But it's a fun game. It's small, 2 players. It can get pretty mean and pretty interesting. It's not really a whole lot of take that. The take that elements can come from some of the topping abilities and things that will be forthcoming, and they'll definitely keep things interesting. And like I said, you can play without them. You don't have to play with the topping abilities, so it scales pretty well. So I've rambled on enough. That is Boba Mahjong. There'll be a link in the description if you choose to go out there and get it, which I recommend that you do. So that is Boba Mahjong. Hope you enjoyed the video. Get a tasty beverage. Take care. Stay safe. Be blessed.